Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 2017 Mrs. International Preliminary Pageant. And now, let's meet your host. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name's Kyle Henry.
And I'm Rebecca Negretti.
And we are delighted to be your host for the 2017 Mrs. International Pageant.
Right, tonight we'll be joined by 64 amazing women from across the world as they vie for the title of Mrs. International 2017.
Each of these ladies is just as beautiful inside as they are out.
And I think it's time to say hello to them now.
Please welcome your pageant singer, Janelle Arthur, and all of your 2017 Mrs. International delegates.
Put your favorite heels on, cause they make you feel strong. When you're looking good, you know you're gonna have a good time. So forget mascara, and to keep your head up, wearing Bonnerwood, wearing lipstick redder than wine. So let's go, move your bump and shine slow. Show them that you can shine glow. You got the light now, you got the light now. Ow! All my girls, raise your hand if you got you a man. You're more than good enough. You gotta. All my girls will show the proof. Just make them remember you. There's one for all my girls who woman up, 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 woman up. When you wear your hair down, it's like you're wearing a crown. Wear to the crowd, look at me, 'cause you know that you're fine. So let's go, move your bump and then shine slow. Show them that you can shine glow. You got the light now, you got the light now. Let's go, move your bump and wine slow. Show them that you can shine glow. You got the light now, you got the light now. All my girls, raise your hands if you got you a man. You're more than good enough. You gotta. All my girls will show the proof. Make them remember you. This one's for all my girls who woman up, 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 woman up.
Oh my God, raise your hand if you don't need a man.
Woman up, woman up.
No matter what you've been through.
Raise your hands if you got a man. Hey, let's go. Move your bumper and wine slow. Show them that you can shine glow. 'Cause you got the light now, you got the light now. So ladies, let's go. Move your bumper and wine slow. Show them that you can shine glow. 'Cause you got the light now, you got the light now. All my girls, raise your hands if you got you a man. You're more than good enough. You gotta. All my girls will show the proof. Just make them remember you. You're more than good enough. You gotta warm it up, warm it up. And here they are, ladies and gentlemen. This one's for all my girls. You gotta warm it up, warm it up. Warm it up, warm it up. Warm it up, warm it up. This one's for all my girls who warm it up, warm it up.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, let's meet all of your 2017 Mrs. International delegates.
Judy Leader, Mrs. Haiti International.
Caitlin Battelle, Mrs. New York International.
Angelique Ashton, Mrs. Washington International.
Layla Sweeney McDougall, Mrs. Australia International.
Jennifer Sackett, Mrs. Wisconsin International.
Megumi Zushi, Mrs. Japan International.
Naomi Gibbs, Mrs. Idaho International.
Isla Ahmed, Mrs. South Asia International.
Parker Sanchez, Mrs. New Jersey International.
International.
Birgit Daniels, Mrs. Colorado, International.
Angelina Yarbrough, Mrs. North Dakota International.
Kristen Ledyard, Mrs. Montana International.
Neetu Prabhakar, Mrs. India International. Kelly Robbins, Mrs. East Coast International. Ashley Gann, Mrs. Alabama International.
Yana Lutska, Mrs. Ukraine International.
Melissa Parker, Mrs. Southeast International.
Breezy Morrison, Mrs. New Mexico International. Kim Gentry Meyer, Mrs. Connecticut International.
Lisa Shannon, Mrs. South Dakota International.
Reno McCollum Hawcroft, Mrs. United Kingdom International.
Pragya Sen, Mrs. Asia Pacific International. Noneka Batska, Mrs. Russia International. Charity Courtney, Mrs. Oregon International. Sarah Dukart, Mrs. Great Plains International. Mrs. Delaware International, Gretchen Eisenberg.
Jessica Pierre, Mrs. Hawaii International.
Mona Roxa Starp, Mrs. Philippines International. Trisha Dowdy, Mrs. Wyoming International. Annie Durrani, Mrs. Pakistan International. Mrs. Southern States International, Spring Gray.
Lori Mendoza, Mrs. Nevada International.
Monica Skyling Masson, Mrs. Illinois International. Tessa Hurd, Mrs. Central States International.
Lori Balla, Mrs. Great Lakes International. Allison Tennell, Mrs. South Carolina International.
Leanne Martinelli, Mrs. Vermont International.
Melanie Cassidy's Mrs. Georgia International.
Brandy Bowers, Mrs. Oklahoma International.
Teresa Ortega, Mrs. Kansas International.
Brianna Williams, Mrs. West Virginia International.
Lindsay Clausen, Mrs. Texas International.
Amanda Lieber, Mrs. Pennsylvania International.
Nancy Julius Larson, Mrs. Sweden International.
Shayna Smith, Mrs. Tennessee International.
Netni Vikramabahu, Mrs. Sri Lanka International. Helen France Meister, Mrs. District of Columbia International.
Veronica Shah, Mrs. Asia International.
Andrea Brower, Mrs. Arizona International. Lindsay Wright, Mrs. Arkansas International.
Terry Grotehouse, Mrs. Ohio International.
Renee Adams, Mrs. Maine International.
Laurie Long, Mrs. California International.
Vida Hargrid, Mrs. Florida International.
Stephanie Welter, Mrs. Minnesota International.
Dr.
Dr. Michelle Aurelius, Mrs. North Carolina International.
Beverly Jackson, Mrs. Ghana International.
And there they are, ladies and gentlemen, your 2017 Mrs. International delegates.
And let's keep that going for our 2017 pageant singer, the incredibly talented Janelle Arthur.
As you just heard, our opening number used the song Woman Up, and it couldn't possibly be more appropriate as every single one of these amazing ladies here is ready to step up to be the next Mrs. International.
The Capitol grounds here in beautiful Charleston provides a picture-perfect backdrop for the pageant, and the Cultural Center Theater is already turning into a wonderful home for our nights of competition.
But it's the delegates on this stage that truly make this place beautiful.
And it's been a full week of appearances and rehearsals for these ladies, and it's all led up to this evening as we head into the preliminary rounds of competition.
And tomorrow night, 15 of them will be chosen to continue on as finalists.
And a lucky 16th could join those finalists as the People's Choice Award winner.
That's right. If you log on to MrsInternational.com, you can vote for your favorite delegate and help them secure a spot as our 16th finalist. Just click on the People's Choice Award button next to their photo. The voting will remain open until 12 o'clock noon Eastern Time tomorrow.
So get those votes in tonight or tomorrow morning to make sure that your favorite is one of our finalists.
Then during the show tomorrow night, one of those 16 will be crowned Mrs. International 2017.
So in addition to the People's Choice Award voting, there are a few other ways that you can participate and keep up with everything surrounding the pageants.
You can check us out and interact with us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course, the website. We encourage you not only to post about everything going on during the pageant, but also to follow all of the social media fun throughout the year.
Now, before we get to the competition, we want to recognize a very special relationship that the Mrs. International pageant system has had for quite a long time now. The work that they do to bring awareness to women all around the globe is simply amazing, and of course, I'm talking about Go Red for Women.
That work is indeed amazing and incredibly important. Go Red for Women is an American Heart Association program that encourages awareness of the issue of women and heart disease, and also action to save more lives. The movement harnesses the energy, passion, and power women have to band together and collectively wipe out heart disease. It challenges them to know their risk for heart disease and take action to reduce that personal risk. It also gives them the tools they need to lead a heart-healthy life.
So we encourage all of you to visit goredforwomen.org to learn more about this incredible initiative.
And right now, we'd like to share a very important message with you from Go Red for Women.
This is your heart. It looks small at first, but it's more powerful than you think. On average, over your lifetime, your heart will beat more than 2.5 billion times. But what is even more impressive are the connections it will make. Because the heart is more than just an organ, it is what allows us to connect to one another. We reach out because we find greater meaning in a life that is shared, and because we know there are questions we can't answer alone. These connections allow us to grow together and fall in love. They teach us to trust and challenge one another. They hold us up and pull us forward. They provide us with enough love to build a family, and they give us the strength to let them go. These connections are the moments that define us. This is our common thread. We reinforce these bonds as we can't imagine life without them. But in reality, we might have to. Heart disease is responsible for 1 in 3 women's deaths, killing more than all forms of cancer combined. It doesn't have to be this way. You can save the women in your life by telling them that heart disease is their #1 killer. Don't be silent. Talk about it. Pass it on as if your life depends on it. Because right now, at this very moment, someone's life does. Who will you tell? Heart disease is no match for the power of women's voices. Raise yours at goredforwomen.org.
How about a nice round of applause to acknowledge the important work done by a very special organization, Go Red for Women.
And they truly are very special to us. Tonight, we're very fortunate to have another very special group with us. In the Mrs. International pageant system, family values and community service are at the core of the pageant system. The group with us tonight that I'm referring to exemplifies those very values, and they are our past title holders. And we'd like to introduce them to you now.
With us this evening, we have Mrs. International 1998, Lisa Mosier.
Mrs. International 2001, Marianne Oden.
Also with us is Mrs. International 2006, Susie Boots.
Miss International 2005, Sarah Wall Beckman.
Miss International 2014, Samantha Riddle.
Miss International 2016, Amanda Moreno.
We also have Miss International 2017, Kelsey Kraft.
As well as Miss Teen International 2016, Garen Harris.
And finally this evening, we have with us Miss Teen International 2017, Carly Peters.
How about a huge round of applause once again for all of these incredible pageant sisters.
And speaking of incredible, it was just about 1 year ago that an incredible woman was crowned Mrs. International 2016. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage your 2016 Mrs. International, Priscilla Pruitt.
Good evening, Priscilla. So good to see you. So you've had quite an incredible year, and you've been able to do so many things, and one of those was to partner with Go Red for Women. If you could tell us a little bit about your year in working with the American Heart Association.
Well, I've had an amazing year, let me just tell you. As an American Heart Ambassador, I've been able to travel to New York, Florida, Texas, basically all over the U.S., and so I've been able to volunteer at heart walks, went to the Macy's Red Dress event in New York City among the stars, walked the red carpet. I've been able to be the keynote speakers at luncheons. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. It's been amazing, just fabulous. Words can't even describe this year for me. I'm so excited to be up here.
And you've also had another program that's very near and dear to your heart. And if you could share a little bit about your platform that you were able to promote this year.
Yes. So as you know, my platform is called Choose Love. I work with National Safe Haven Alliance, Safe Haven Baby Boxes, and the Hope Box to prevent the abandonments of babies worldwide. So I've been able to literally get proclamations from all 50 governors across the U.S., and we took that to New York this year, and we were able to get a proclamation from the president himself proclaiming April National Safe Haven Awareness Month. So that was huge for us. And then I've been able to secure baby box locations all across the world. I just came back from Honduras. I will be going back to Honduras in November to go place baby boxes in Honduras. I'll be going to Ghana in October to place a baby box there. So my work is not done. I promise you, I'm going to be doing this till my very last breath.
You've done such an exceptional job this year. We're going to see Priscilla a little bit later on in the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's Mrs. International 2016, Priscilla Pruitt. Just as Priscilla has spent the past year representing and promoting the programs and organizations that are important to her, each delegate in the Mrs. International pageant must choose a platform to represent throughout her prospective reign. During the personal interview process, our judges ask each delegate about her platform in detail. And those interviews are important because each delegate's personal interview accounts for 50% of her preliminary score.
So it's a tremendous responsibility for our judges, and we couldn't ask for a better group for this daunting task. Let's take a few moments to meet these hard-working individuals. Beginning with our first judge, Sarah Bolyard. Sarah is the executive director of the American Heart Association for West Virginia. She joined the AHA in 2011 after several years in the pharmaceutical sales industry. Currently, she leads the development team and is responsible for statewide fundraising and event management. The results of these efforts provide life-saving funds and education to those in West Virginia suffering from the #1 killer in America, heart disease. Sarah is a graduate of West Virginia University with a bachelor's degree in public relations. She was also a member of Delta Gamma sorority, where she volunteered and rallied awareness for blind and visually impaired children. Sarah and her husband, Brian, just welcomed a new baby boy into their family and reside in Charleston, West Virginia, where they have been active in the community for many years. Please welcome our first judge, Sarah Bolliard.
Our next judge is Eric Bates. Eric started his career in the hospitality industry when he was just 15 years old as a bellman and banquet houseman. After high school, he enrolled in the culinary arts program at Joliet Junior College, where he earned his associate's degree before advancing to the University of Wisconsin-Stout, where he graduated cum laude with his bachelor's degree in hospitality and restaurant management. Eric currently serves as general manager of the iconic Chicago Marriott Lincolnshire Resort in Lincolnshire, Illinois, and as regional director of operations for the Brighton Group of Mount Prospect, Illinois. He is an eager volunteer and remains active in community efforts from public safety to education, serving on several board of directors. When he's not working, Eric enjoys outdoor activities like scuba diving, kayaking, hiking, and biking near the rural Wisconsin home he shares with his family. That is our second judge, Eric Bates.
Our third judge is Rachel Thaxton. Rachel is the program director of Recovery Point Charleston, a program that offers long-term residential recovery for women suffering from substance use disorders. She is a 2007 graduate of West Virginia University with an MA in education and a BA in multidisciplinary skills. Rachel is in long-term recovery from substance use and uses her knowledge and experience to fuel her passion for women's recovery. Rachel was born and raised in St. Albans, West Virginia, and currently resides there with her 2 children. Her daughter Emma is 3 years old, and her son Kit is 6. She spends her free time exercising, reading, and enjoying as much time as possible with her children and her family. That's our third judge, Rachel Thaxton.
Our next judge is Craig White. Craig was drafted by the Los Angeles Dodgers in 1989 and graduated from Slippery Rock University in 1992 with a bachelor's degree in physical education with a sport management emphasis. He was a certified Schwinn spinning and Star Trek precision cycling instructor. Craig is the general manager of Grandview Park in Moundsville, West Virginia, where he has been the recipient of the 2016 Dr. David Ely Community Service Award by the Marshall County Chamber of Commerce. He is also currently the executive director of the Greater Moundsville Convention and Visitors Bureau. After his baseball career, he was inducted into the Union Printers International Baseball League Hall of Fame in 2005, Bethel Park Senior High School Hall of Fame in 2009, Slippery Rock University Hall of Fame in 2010, and National Semi-Pro Baseball Hall of Fame in 2016. Craig lives in West Alexander, Pennsylvania with his wife Carrie of 15 years. And he's our fourth judge, Craig White.
Our fifth judge is Denise O'Hanley. Denise is a communications professional and president of WKPR, a boutique public relations agency based in Chicago, specializing in industries including entertainment, hospitality, luxury retail, tourism, and consumer products. Prior to owning her company, Denise lived in Southern California and worked for the Beverly Hills Visitors Bureau, promoting the famed city to international audiences. She's a cum laude graduate of Marquette University in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, where she earned a degree in journalism. Denise has served as an adjunct professor at the University of Chicago Graham School, in addition to volunteering her time to serve numerous charitable organizations in the greater Chicago area. Denise is a proud mother to her son Brady, who is entering his senior year at Indiana University. She has called Illinois home for nearly 19 years and lives in the North Shore suburbs of Chicago. That is our fifth and final judge, Denise O'Hanley.
Next, we would like to introduce our judges coordinator, Susan Botek. Susan has been a part of the international pageant system since 1989 as a contestant, director, and as our judges coordinator since 2008. She answers any questions that judges have about the scoring system and about each phase of competition. Thank you, Susan, for all your hard work and dedication to the international pageant system. That's our judges coordinator, Susan Botek. And thank you to all of our judges. We appreciate all that you do.
Absolutely. Well, it's time to stop bragging about how awesome our judges are and let them get back to work, because our delegates are backstage and they are ready for the fitness wear competition.
In this first round, which is worth 25% of their total score, the judges will be looking for each delegate to showcase the importance of being physically fit and leading a healthy lifestyle. Right now, let's get things moving with competition group number 1.
Starting tonight's first round of competition, here is delegate number 1, Judy Leger, Mrs. Haiti International. Delegate number 1, Judy Leger, Mrs. Haiti International.
Mrs. New York International is delegate number 2, Caitlin Battel. That's delegate number 2, Mrs. New York International, Caitlin Battel.
Delegate number 3, Mrs. Washington International, Angelique Ashton. Delegate number 3, Angelique Ashton, Mrs. Washington International.
Mrs. Australia International is delegate number 4, Leela Sweeney McDougall. That's Leela Sweeney McDougall, delegate number 4, Mrs. Australia International.
Delegate number 5, Mrs. Wisconsin International, Jennifer Sackett. Jennifer Sackett, delegate number 5, Mrs. Wisconsin International.
Delegate number 6 is Mrs. Japan International, Megumi Zushi. That's Megumi Zushi, delegate number 6, Mrs. Japan International.
Delegate number 8, Ayla Ahmed, Mrs. South Asia International. Delegate number 8, Ayla Ahmed, Mrs. South Asia International.
Naomi Gibbs is delegate number 9, and she's Mrs. Idaho International. That's delegate number 9, Mrs. Idaho International, Naomi Gibbs.
Delegate number 10, Tiffany Borsheim, Mrs. Virginia International. Mrs. Virginia International, delegate number 10, Tiffany Borsheim.
Delegate number 11 is Parker Sanchez, Mrs. New Jersey International. That's Mrs. New Jersey International, delegate number 11, Parker Sanchez.
Delegate number 13, Mrs. Michigan International, Melissa Potza. Delegate number 13, Melissa Potza, Mrs. Michigan International.
Mrs. Midwest International is delegate number 14, Ashley Ray Klinger. That's Ashley Ray Klinger, delegate number 14, Mrs. Midwest International.
Delegate number 15, Birgit Daniels, Mrs. Colorado International.